Ladies and gents, boys and girls, we are officially back. Had to do some YouTube stuff, but everything I got cleared up, stuff like that. So just good to see. Very very good to see. Missed you guys as always, even though it's been like 2 days. But we're back. We are officially back. Shout out to Perspective as always. Great videos. And guess what? Mr. Max Verstappen won again this weekend, making 10 straight wins, passing Sebastian Vettel. And listen, man, at this point, someone needs to be able to beat him. Someone needs to be able to beat Max Verstappen. So in this video, we should be understanding, and we're probably going to be learning about how to beat Max Verstappen. Because listen, Carlos Sainz was on pole, still couldn't get it done. I mean, he tried. You know, the first few laps, I thought he had it. I thought he was going to hold on. But I knew eventually that was not going to happen. And guess what? Red Bull come in P1, P2. And Verstappen gets to win. So, does he have a chance to win the remaining of the races? At this point, I think so. I think we are entering, I think, the Asian scene. I think next is Singapore. So that should be fun. Again, as always, don't forget to like and sub as well. And that's the intro. But congrats to Verstappen for winning. But someone needs to be Verstappen. So guess what? We are going to figure out how to beat
dominance.
Max Verstappen.
Max Verstappen right now is really the talk of Formula One. That Red Bull is clearly a level above everyone else. I mean, looking like it is better than last year's car, which already was Red Bull's most dominant F1 car they ever built. So throughout the Max Verstappen dominance, of course, if you're like me, I'm sure many other fans are, I want to see 4 or 5 drivers from different teams battling it out every single time a Grand Prix goes down.
The only bad thing is we haven't really been seeing that. We haven't really been seeing it. I mean, it's in bits and pieces of like when Fernando Alonso was getting podium, stuff like that earlier on in the season. You know, Mercedes, you haven't really seen from Mercedes. Probably like once or twice, if that. Ferrari, we know their ups and downs this season, except for Sunday. But nobody has really like consistently battled with Red Bull this year, unless I'm missing somebody. But nobody consistently has not been battling with Red Bull. Their constructors championship is absolutely crazy how far they are in front of everybody. And like halfway done.
A 4 or 5 driver battle for the championship. Amazing. But we're not getting that, of course.
This ain't 07.
I started thinking, how do you beat Max Verstappen? I started to think about Max's weaknesses. And don't get me wrong, there aren't many. So I thought of some ways drivers in the future can beat Max Verstappen. Now, I'm not a racing driver, and this definitely is absolutely useless information for any F1 driver. And I wanted to just see and explore some of Max's weaknesses and things that I think drivers could maybe capitalize on if they are ever to go toe-to-toe with Max. Starting off with qualifying. Now, many people have said in the past that qualifying might be one of Verstappen's weaknesses, but this year he seems to have really turned it up. And yes, of course, I know people are going to say, but he has the fastest car, one of the fastest cars we've ever seen.
That's right.
And yes, that is true, but he definitely seems to be a lot quicker over one lap. He definitely makes less mistakes, and I just think he has gone to another level during qualifying. I think
agree.
If you can beat Max to pole position in qualifying, I think that is just a huge bonus. Of course, everyone wants to be on pole position, but you need every single advantage you can possibly get when you're up against Max.
And I thought that was going to happen. I thought that was going to happen. Also, I mentioned this early on in the race. Toto Wolff. He seemed a tad bit dismissive after Verstappen wins his 10th straight race. Now, I know, listen, your rival, stuff like that, so I get it. I understand it. But come on, man. 10 straight races? Even though, your rival, stuff like that, you gotta get credit, dude. That's amazing.
Driver like Charles
Just want to let you know, bro. Hey, man.
2 excellent drivers over one lap. We've seen Charles Leclerc even this year in a sort of struggling Ferrari put together some absolutely burning qualifying laps. Amazing pace, incredible to watch. Now, starting ahead of Max Verstappen brings me to my next point, which is race starts. Now, I actually think Max Verstappen has really improved his race starts in recent years. Max seems to have one of the fastest reaction times on the grid. I think that even if you manage to jump Max, or even if you are starting in pole position, I mean, you still need to be very aware of where Max is going to be.
Right.
We've seen Max make moves that look almost impossible, and then suddenly midway through or by the end of the first corner at a racetrack, he's suddenly ahead. He seems to just place his car in positions that just put him in front, even on some of the most difficult corners. I think race starts is a critical area for any driver who is going to take it to Max. Because even then, we see how Max can really get his elbows out. He can be a really difficult driver to battle with. Max has an ability to make himself very wide, and honestly, yes, maybe goes over the limit sometimes, but I guess that's why a lot of people love Max. Now, I also think another important strategy to have is that you need to frustrate Verstappen.
And I didn't think about that until now, so I am interested in what she is gonna say. Sorry for pausing a lot, but I do remember, like, we talked about it, and like you guys have told me, yeah, 3 things in one. Like back in, like, young Max was like very like a very aggressive driver, stuff like that. You know, I think we remember his one incident with Esma Ocon, which he pushed him after a race, stuff like that. You know, he just had a little temper to him. But again, who's really gonna make Verstappen mad this season? I'm talking about frustrate him, block him, do this, do that. You gotta find a way. Listen, if I was in F1, listen. It's easier said than done, but I may have to pull a Alan Prost and Senna. Hey, I'm gonna have to take you out.
A pest. You really need to be.
That's petty though.
Pain.
I'm probably going to get banned for a few races
to deal with. Now, I think Max has matured over the years. I think we've all seen him enter the sport as a 17-year-old boy, and now he's a grown-up. And I think he has matured throughout the years. We've definitely seen it. We've seen his attitude change. But at the end of the day, he is a racing driver like everyone else. He will get upset. He will get mad. He will get frustrated. He will let his emotions go a bit wild sometimes. It's only normal for humans to do that. I think if you can disrupt Max a little bit, make him feel uncomfortable, make him feel like he has more to lose, I think that would go a long way. I think the mental game isn't talked about enough in Formula One, but we have seen it a lot. Psychological wars between two drivers, I think it really does take a toll. For example, in 2016, look at all the different things Nico Rosberg did to get ahead of Lewis Hamilton. The work he had to put in was quite incredible because Lewis Hamilton was pretty untouchable. Rosberg studied philosophy. He even spoke to a psychologist very regularly. 2016 Rosberg is one of the best Formula One drivers you'll ever see because he was at his peak in almost every department. And if certain things didn't happen during that season, he still would have lost the title. The mental side of things is fascinating for any sport. For me in general, I think it is a huge part of any driver's game, any basketball player's game, or any soccer player's game. And we've seen Max Verstappen act on emotions before. Of course we have. Maybe not so much recently. I think that it's a bit different now because he is older, obviously matured as a racing driver, maybe understands himself a bit more, but we still see him sometimes get angry. Of course, that's just what happens. And finally, like any F1 driver with any hopes of winning anything, you need to get lucky. That's just the reality of Formula One. Sometimes you just need luck in your favor. You need a few things to happen that just fall your way. And this is the thing, right? Red Bull and Max Verstappen, Sergio Perez, they could win every race remaining this season.
I think they are.
It is a real possibility.
I think they
but
are.
No matter how good the car is and no matter how good the drivers are, you still need luck. You still need things to go your way.
Now, quick question. Now, this is just me, but if Verstappen have like those early on car issues last year, could it have Red Bull? Well, Brazil, obviously Mercedes went at in Brazil, but Verstappen, as of right now, could have won. Like the Red Bull could have won every single race going back to the start of last year. Outside Brazil, they could win every. They could have won every single race. Hear me out. Hear me out. The only reason they, like last year, like I said a few times, they didn't win a race. You know, for Ferrari was winning was because of like the car like issues, stuff like that, the car stalling, stuff like that. If they never had that, they could have won every single race last year outside of Brazil. And then this year, they've won every single race. So, I mean, maybe I'm false, maybe I'm wrong, but man, it's just hear me out, hear me out,
you
hear
can't
me
have
out.
a gearbox issue,
Think
you
about
can't
it.
have a retirement, you can't be crashed out of the race. You need things to go right. It's just how Formula One
Right.
is. Now, everyone's going to say, it's easy to beat Max Verstappen. You just need to win more races than him. You need to score more points than Max.
It's
That's how you
impossible
beat him.
right now.
Of course, but even if you have a car that is able to compete with Red Bull, there are still so many other things involved with beating him. Just like Max Verstappen beating Lewis Hamilton. Look at that final race of the season.
That was
the
crazy.
craziest thing I've ever seen in my life happened. Sometimes you just need things to happen to beat other people. Nico Rosberg in 2016. I'll bring it up again. Lewis Hamilton's engine failed in Malaysia. Suddenly, Rosberg was... I mean, it was his championship. Formula One is so fascinating to me. We get so many different drivers through different eras. And Max Verstappen right now, clearly on top of the world, clearly on top of F1. But if you're going to beat this guy, a lot has to go right. Let me know in the comment section, what do you have to do to beat Max Verstappen? If someone's in a championship battle, what is the first thing they need to do to get themselves ahead? Let me know in the comment section below. Look forward to reading. Thank you so much for watching this video. Feel free to follow me on Instagram for some behind the scenes content and future videos.
Shout out to my guy perspective, man. We're a banger. Always a banger. This is what I'm doing, man. First thing first. You gotta out qualify him. Gotta do what Carlos Sainz. You have to out qualify him. Second, for the whole race, you better defend like freaking $15 million, like $1 billion on the line. I'm talking about you defend your ass off. You defend. Do what you need to do. The pit stops have got to be correct. You gotta time your pit stops. You gotta get in and out instantly. Because listen, you may not get a big gap because his car is just that good and he's just that good. You know what I mean? But you just defend. Every corner you defend like a freaking life is on it. And you got to do that for the whole 50, 60 laps, whatever. Do what you need to do. Do what you need to do. And that's my plan. Chaz, your boy. Anyway, hope you guys did enjoy the video. Don't forget to like and sub as well. As always, take care. Stay amazing. As always, peace.